Alright, so we got, this crazy Capricorn stellium. The sun is fully in Aquarius now, it's 4 degrees, and the moon is still in Cancer. It's about 20 degrees, so we're gonna see the shift into Leo soon, and then we know we got the full moon coming up after that, or early into Leo. Well, yeah, early into Leo, like 4 degrees Leo, so we probably gonna see the full moon through the night, you know what I'm saying, late night, very early morning tip. So for the most part, you know what I'm saying, what up, it's your boy Dave B. You watching DaveBeyondTV, where we go beyond that everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis, and we breaking down astrology, as you must know by now. So at the point, you know what I'm saying, like, basically, let's just start with the sun and moon. So, you got the sun in Aquarius. Man, I gotta stop making videos when I'm driving, bro, but this be the only time, because niggas be getting on my nerves. All right, but anyway, we gonna chill out. But for the most part, so when we talk about the moon being in Cancer, and the sun being in Aquarius, I talked about it a little bit, but last video was less about the sun and moon, way more about the sun, you know what I'm saying? I was just talking about the sun and Pluto being together. So for the most part, right, with this combination though of the sun and moon, the moon being Cancer makes everything moody. I was kind of explaining this. It makes everything moody and emotional, but what's cool and interesting about this time, I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is very much a thing going on, right? We got so much Saturnian energy in the sky that the best thing you can do, because see, a lot of us might be feeling overwhelming emotions about our circumstance, about the things around us. Pluto messes with your perception in the sense of, it's kind of like, if you look at Pluto is a very old object in a sense, right? It's a very old energy. That's why it's kind of like it deals with death, transformation. Like when you think of like the proper way to kind of exit this world, like when you about elderly and you done lived a fulfilling life, right? And I'm just speaking in terms of just bringing an analogy home, right? Let's say that you lived a nice full life and it's at the end of it, right? There should be some form of a relief and release, you know what I'm saying, in the sense of, you kind of did everything you needed to do, you accept things as they are, and you're ready to transform. When you, like, kind of I was talking about before, surrendering. So when you're able to surrender, right, if you can do it in a peaceful space, that's the best kind of release that you can do, because it's not you holding on to anything, it's not you holding on to resentment. A lot of times, so when you're dealing with that level of transformation, when you accept things as they are, and you kind of look at your life, you be like, you know what, yeah, I may not have did every little thing I thought was important, but I done lived a fulfilling life, right? And that's kind of what I hope for everybody to be at that point, no matter what point it is that you actually feel as though it's your time to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I hope that no matter what, you kind of able to look at your life and say, you know what, well, I did what I could, and I'm satisfied with it on some level. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're trying to come back. But for the most part though, when you're dealing with, so that energy alone, that surrendering, like if you can't get to that point right now, you probably a little frantic at the moment. Things could be very scary. That's how Pluto messes with your perception, because it can force you to kind of feel like you ain't did enough and kind of want to change things, and this is like you just trying to hold on to something. When you think of power and control, ironically, Pluto is where we need to take power and control, but it's also where we have none, and we have to come to the realization that the only thing we truly have power and control over is ourselves and our ability to surrender, to choose to surrender, to choose to accept things, and to choose to transform. Because in transforming, you kind of take your power back. Like surrendering might feel like giving up or settling, but it's really not. When you surrender, it's you accepting the fact that, okay, whatever I had at one point in time, I need to change it. I need to allow it to go through its transformations, and whatever is left afterwards is what I'm going to take and start to transmute, because that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? That's really what transformation is. Transformation is not the end all. It's not the end all be all. It's supposed to be a phase. You know what I'm saying? Everything is kind of on a cycle. So if you look at transformation less as an end point, more as a phase that leads from one point to the starting point of something new, then this point in time is actually quite exciting. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's still going to have undertones of kind of being scary, only because it's unknown to you. And shout out to if I ain't say your name right, my bad, bro. But Sulata, because he had put a real cool quote on the video previously about, you know, when it comes to pain, you know what I'm saying, pain and going through those motions and getting to that next place, you know, that's all it takes, you know what I'm saying. Like even the old saying, you know, pain is weakness leaving the body and things of that nature. It's like growing pains. Like when you think of these different things, like there's a certain you know, like I was kind of speaking of before, you know, once you accept things, then that pain isn't so bad anymore. It's something that you can lean into and kind of, you know, again, use to kind of build on. But for the most part, you know, going back to what I was saying, so right now, you know, Pluto can kind of mess with your perception. And what I was saying earlier too, it's a very old energy. So a lot of that old energy can kind of, you know, make you feel like, you know, something ain't right, or like, you know what I'm saying, and really all it is just you in a new phase, you know what I'm saying. You going through a new phase, we all going through a new phase, and so there's new things to adapt to, new things, new stimuli to respond to, and it's a matter of kind of yeah. So let's get into like the emotional aspect. So with the moon in Cancer, it's in conjunction with the sun, so there's a misunderstanding between what we feel and what we seeing. And what I was going to say about all this Saturnian energy, the benefit of it is giving you the tools to be able to handle the harshness of what you might be dealing with internally, but have a certain level of composure and ability to, and developing an ability to structure in your internal. And like I was saying about Saturn and Pisces, it's all about emotional regulation and being able to structure your internal world so that you don't let it become something that allows your external to be out of hand. Like whenever your internal is out of whack and in chaos, a lot of times it seeps into your external. This is where you start to lash out on people that don't really deserve it. Even though they might do something that triggers you, you got to look at it like they still ain't the source of the problem. You know, everything we deal with externally, like that's why it's so interesting in relationships and things of that nature, because when you spend a tremendous amount of time with another individual, like if you think of relationships, and I mean like beyond just romantic ones, I'm talking about all relationships, you're essentially learning how to share space with another individual, which can be highly frustrating because naturally we all are accustomed to our own space. And once, you know, from a distance, you know, you're like, oh yeah, I like this person. Yeah, I kind of want to pursue this person. I want to get close to this person, right? I want to start a business with this person. I want to do this, that, and the third. But then you start to realize that there's certain things you have to sacrifice. You know, Saturn is exalted in Libra, and that's the whole idea of Libra, like the whole idea of compromise and collaboration, harmony, but also things that are harmful, what it means to be just, you know what I'm saying, justice and balance and these things take sacrifice a lot of times. And you know, not to make everything negative, because you might look at sacrifice and be like, well, I gotta sacrifice myself just to be with another individual. But you got to look at it like, if y'all sharing space, think about it. Think about if you was moving into a house with another person, right? You got a house full of stuff. Say y'all both had your own apartments. You got an apartment full of stuff. They got an apartment full of stuff. Y'all moving into one space. Now, we want to take everything we got to move it into that house. But think about how cluttered that house would be. And there's things that new house needs to be, there's bringing too much from your old shit to that new house. You're not going to leave any room for anything new to be made. And truthfully, both individuals it's like you got to leave room for new things to be built in that new space. And that requires you to enter that space naked on some level. You know what I'm saying? The best kind of relationships you can have is the ones where you accept that you leave the past where it's at and you accept building on something new with a new individual, aka not holding on to certain baggage, you know what I'm saying, letting go and releasing certain old connections and things of that nature that don't, you know what I'm saying. These are the things that make a relationship actually prosper, based upon y'all being clear, and with that clarity is going to allow y'all to build something new in a space where nothing was yet built. When you bring old stuff to a certain space, this is where you get, like, you know, questionable situations and moments where it's like, wait a minute, like, I don't really know if I like this wallpaper that you brought from your old house. Like, I kind of was thinking I wanted something else, and this could start an argument, because if a person is too clinging on to something old that they had that means something to them before the other individual was even a factor, they're right in their own regard to want to keep it because it's part of what they want. But at the same time, the other person is left with the short end of the stick in the sense of feeling like, damn, well, we not building nothing new. We can't have no, like, why don't we just go to the store and get a whole new wallpaper and shit like that? That might be a stupid analogy, but for the most part, that's what, you know, it's saying. It feel like y'all two individuals learn how to share space and take a level of sacrifice on both ends. You know, both of y'all have to understand and accept certain things, and you know, that's just kind of like how it goes. And not to make it all about like sacrifice could be good, you know what I'm saying? Because there's things that, you know, I look at everything in the sense that, you know, certain things happen for a reason. Of course, things can be negative as far as certain things you choose to sacrifice as things that you damn near needed to hold on to. But that's just a testament of, you know, going through an experience and realizing like, okay, this might not be the right situation for me, or X, Y, and Z, right? But, you know, there's a level of effort and work that has to go into bringing balance to a situation. So I say all that to say that, you know, when you're looking at, I forgot actually what my point of saying that was, but I'm sure y'all can rewind and connect the dots, and I'm sure it's going to connect itself as I continue on. But, you know, that's really what it is, sharing space with an individual. You know what I'm saying? You share space, and that's where that, you know, well, we're talking about Saturn in a sense. You know, Saturn is kind of like all about sacrifice, all about, you know, structure and things of that nature. So when you're thinking about things like this, right, the time we're in right now, it's like certain feelings and emotions, perceptions of the world, reality, these things need to be sacrificed in order for us to build something new in that space. And that's kind of what Saturn and Pisces is about, and us dealing with all the Saturnian energy. Again, it's giving us a tool right now to be able to work and develop an ability to handle these complex emotions and structure them in a way that doesn't lead to self-destruction in a sense, or doesn't lead to, you know, the continuation of a delusion that's not really helping you move forward in life. It's helping you, you know, and this is only, when I say these transits, this is only if you are aware of it and actively doing things to do that. Meaning, when you're going through these complex feelings and emotions and you're responding to certain things, you're not allowing these emotions to become you. You're allowed to, you're not ignoring them. You're not putting them to the side, and you're not neglecting them. You're accepting them for what they are. You're seeing what, oh, I feel this, but you're not allowing it to be you. You know what I'm saying? Feelings are supposed to pass through us. Even if you create art and things of that nature, find ways to release. The whole goal is to allow that thing to go through you, not to become you. You know what I'm saying? Just because you sad this day or sad that day, don't let that become you. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain feelings and thoughts that we still want to cling on to. And that's the whole thing. The moon in Cancer, comfort. But nothing about this current moment in time is comfortable. So this can make you moody because you can't quite get comfortable. This is a whole new world, new space, new transformation. You just passed through Pluto. Things died. We in the middle of the winter. We in the fixed portion of the winter. It's like, goddamn, there is nothing comfortable around me. But it's about how well can you adapt to the harshness, and not even adapting to it in the sense of, like, again, it's like you having to create. Well, since it's a fixed energy, and we're gonna get into that because we still got a lot of Capricorn energy. So on an internal level, there is an initiation because there's certain things that just don't make sense no more. So let's look at the energies in Capricorn, because we got that stellium there. Venus just entered Capricorn. So we need to start to develop a love and appreciation for structure, for things being a little more dry, for things being, for allowing the initiation of something new that's practical that we can think through. We need to accept that. We need to start to appreciate that. And we need to also start to emulate that in our relationships. Meaning, you know, it's not about you and your partner starting a business. It's about you and your partner being committed towards building something. And you recognizing when you with a partner that actually isn't on your, like, cause see, sometimes it's like, there's many different ways you can look at it depending on the situation. But here's the thing, here's the key. When it comes to relationships in general at this moment in time, if you and whoever you're relating to, whether it be romantic, platonic, business, if they're not willing to, I guess, commit to the building of something, if you can't build with this individual, if y'all can't set aside certain things that might seem a little more petty, if y'all can't come to a resolve on what to structure, and it's not so much about putting pressure on, again, like business, or we need to build a business right now. No, it's about you looking at that individual and saying, like, hey, can we come together and think of a more practical way to go about things? Can we commit to a budget? Can we commit to a savings plan? Can we commit to something that's leading towards building? If you can't look at your partner and say, okay, we building towards something, that flame is gonna die. That romance and that whatever. And again, if it's not romantic and you're talking about platonic shit, and fuck romance, because that's Roman shit. We got to come up with a new way to even look at love, because in this new world, in new time, and that's why everybody, I feel like that's why everybody talking about all relationships is dead, and you can look online and see people just not really understanding what a relationship is. It's because, you know, that Roman concept is fucking over, man. Like, romance is dead. Like, and in the sense of, like, it's not that, oh, we can't experience love on that level. It's like we got to create something new. We got to create a new perspective on how we go about love, and how we go about that aspect of love. You know, because when you think of romance is more like the fancy side of love, like the love that's, you know, boisterous and you know, chivalrous, and you know, courtship, things of that nature. Like, we got to remix that whole thing, and it makes sense. We in a new time, so new things need to be put into that mixture in order to create something that we can say, oh, this can work. You know what I'm saying? And part of it is being spiritually connected to that individual, but there's different ways that we need to start to care for the people that we love. There's different ways that we need to show appreciation and acknowledge, you know. But first, we have to go through this rough patch of building what that is and what that could be. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of ways, like, you can look at, you know, if you understand how all these energies work, because again, we follow the sun and be like, okay, yeah, it's New Year's and in the spring, and but these other planets be going through it too. Venus is in the beginning of death. So what we used to see as a concept of love is dying. You know what I'm saying? So we have to acknowledge that, just like we acknowledge where the sun is at. Oh, okay, everything is around us dying. Okay, yeah, it's the winter time. It's the winter time for love too. It's the winter time for passions too. Passions need to transform. And see, passions like to transform. Passions don't, like, no, Mars and Scorpio, they don't like to stay the same too long. So it makes sense why Mars is exalted at this time. So in our Mars energy, we're real excited to start to restructure things. But there's a way to go about it that is constructive or productive, and there's a way to go about it that's more destructive. And sometimes you have to be in a destructive mode. Sometimes you have to kind of do that. And same thing with love. Love is in Capricorn. So, you know, Venus being in Capricorn, it's not its favorite place, but it don't necessarily do bad, because in a sense it's a trine, you know what I'm saying? Because Venus is home in Taurus, and it squares Libra. So there's a learning process that goes on in Capricorn, because again, you can't make your love purely on business. You can't make love completely dry. There has to be some kind of emotion and feeling and true connection involved. And see, that's the best kind of relationship you can be in, where during this phase, y'all have enough rapport with each other to focus on things that are more practical, more you know, logic and practical driven, you know what I'm saying, more structure driven, things that are a little more dry, that take a little bit more of a focus and earthly tone to it. So it's not all about, you know what I'm saying, y'all, this might not be the most, you know what I'm saying, the most, you know, time for the most you know, all that fun stuff that come with love. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might not be having the same fun that and I don't want to say that, because it's always, you know, with your partner and stuff, you got to create the fun. You can always have fun, and it's not about, oh, we can't have fun right now. It's just y'all gonna have to tend to business, and the business got to be more important than the pleasure at the moment. But if y'all really connected, getting y'all shit together should be pleasurable, because you're with the person you want to be with. Same thing with other, you know, forms of relationships, like partnerships and things of that nature. Getting your shit together needs to feel pleasurable. And if getting your shit together with another individual don't feel pleasurable, then on some level, that might not be who you're supposed to be with. You know what I'm saying? And when I say pleasurable, I don't mean that everything gonna be peaches and butterflies. It's like, it's a matter of being able to look at the situation and say, you know what, yeah, this might be frustrating. We might have to go through some shit, but damn it, I'm glad I'm doing it with you. Or, you know what I'm saying, I'm happy that, you know, it looked like we working towards something, boom, 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 you know what I'm saying? Those type of energies and stuff like that. Not, man, this motherfucker, man, I gotta get up every day and do this bullshit, and I don't even feel like it's going towards nothing. Like, when you start talking like that, then, you know, you might need to reconsider some things. You know what I'm saying? There might be some things that just ain't cutting it, you know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different conversation or situation that you got to deal with, you know what I'm saying? But you got to be real with yourself. You got to be able to see that a mile away. Now, a lot of this energy is going to be opposite the moon, so that's even adding fuel to the flame of uncomfortability, you know what I'm saying? Venus, our love, is opposite to how we feel right now and what's used to be comfortable to us. Again, you might not feel like putting restrictions on all the pleasurable things to do the things you're supposed to do to get done to reach a level of structure. Because see, the irony of this energy is like you might have to restrict certain things that were outright pleasurable. Like, let's say in a relationship, y'all used to have sex every day, right? But let's say y'all in a situation right now where y'all really got to get y'all bills together and stuff like that. So it's like you might have to put off what used to be pleasurable to y'all, all that sex every day and more, you know what I'm saying? All that, you know what I'm saying? Y'all might have to put that off to get some bills paid real quick so that y'all can create a circumstance where y'all can get back to that, you know what I'm saying? Or even better, y'all elevate y'all relationship to the point where it becomes way more than sex, where now y'all not just having sex on a blow up mattress, y'all actually done put in the work, time, and effort to build a structure, and y'all bonded through that to now y'all finna move into a house, and now y'all sex every day then turned into y'all actually being in a certain level of a relationship that is way more fulfilling on a different plane than, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you could have went through the phase before where Venus was in Sagittarius. You could have just looked at this person as somebody you wanted to kick it with, but now that y'all structuring something, you like, you know what, I might just be able to build a life with this person. Like, that's how transits is supposed to work and enhance and influence growth. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people a lot of times don't really see it like that. People just be like, oh, well, we just going through this transit, so I'm just gonna start doing this thing. And then as soon as the transit switch, they don't build on what they was doing, they just do something else. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it be like that. Sometimes you be with somebody for a transit come along that y'all don't mesh well, and you move on, and it be like, all right, cool, like, this not a person I don't want to build with. This person don't show me energies of someone I want to build with, and that's how that goes, you know what I'm saying? That's how you grow out of that, you know what I'm saying? But it all builds on each other and stuff like that, because there ain't no right or wrong to the shit. It's just ways to understand it, you know? So if you are in a committed relationship, it's about looking at how y'all can develop and grow through these transits, not how you know what I'm saying? Because that's all it's about, whether or not y'all make it through the storm, you know what I'm saying? And it becomes a thing where you really can't ensure that y'all gonna make it through everything. It's a commitment thing, it's a choice thing, but it's also an experience thing. You have to go through it to know it, you know what I'm saying? So that's how that shit go. But getting back to this energy, so Venus is opposite this moon energy, so we gonna feel a little uncomfortable with love. The things that are required for our love to be sustained and founded might not look comfortable, might not look pleasurable, and we're gonna have to get over that. But like I was saying, we have enough Saturnian energy where you can start to make sense and commit yourself to and be devoted to putting in that work to be able to achieve that level of whatever you see as a ideal love situation, or, you know what I'm saying, especially if you really in one that you want to be in, then, you know, you're gonna look at it and be like, all right, let me create balance. This is what I want, or this is what I feel like I need as far as comfort, but this is what the situation calls for at the moment, and you're gonna have to make that decision. We're also gonna feel highly uncomfortable about our passions at the moment. We might not know what to do with our energy, our focus, our passion, due to us not feeling comfortable, or might not even feel confident right now in what's going on, based upon, like, kind of looking around. Like I was saying before, Pluto them killed everything. It's the middle of death, so you might be looking around and you really might not know what it is that you want to invest your energy into. And that's okay, because, like, you know, this is just a transit, so the moon moves fast enough to where don't let this phase you, you know what I'm saying? You might just need to slow down and take a little breather with your passion so that you can regroup and create balance. Figure out what you care about first. and then look at it from the lens of how your Mars can create balance with it. Because like that's the thing about the moon and Mars. You know, you got to look at the Mars like as the sun, the son, the child that is old enough, like say a child that's like 15, 16, maybe even 17, 18, right? Young adult, a lot of energy. And think of the moon as the mother. So think about the relationship between a son and his mother, a son in his teenage years. A son in his teenage years on the right track should be looking to protect his mother. So there's certain things that child will step up to do. Maybe not everything, and might not even do it well, but there's a certain attitude that young man should have in regards to his mother. So there might be friction because the mother is still trying to be a mother and the son is still learning to be a man. But at the same time, the young man is going to love his mother, and there's going to be a level of balance that can be created between the two, where the young man can still respect his mother and fight for his mother, but at the same time, you know, might have to deal with a little bit of the frustration of the mother being too motherly, and that man is going to have to create boundaries in order to become the man he needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Yo, mama, I can't do that right now. Like, I know you scared for me to pump. Yeah, I know you scared for me to go to that spot, but I gotta go there. I gotta go to work. I know you don't like me having this kind of job, but I need to have this job, because if I'm gonna be a strong man, I gotta go through that experience. So when it comes to your passions, you might be at that crossroads where it's like your feelings is like, yeah, I don't know about that one, son. I don't know. You might not be safe, and I can't really protect you if you go too far into that passion. But you know in your heart, like, yo, like I gotta do this. I gotta do something. I gotta use my energy towards something, because if I don't, I'm not gonna grow as a man, or I'm not gonna grow in my passions. I'm not gonna be able to achieve my goals if I don't get up off my ass and figure something out, even if I don't know if it's gonna work or not. So mom, you're gonna have to just chill out for a second. Like, that's a real conversation you might be having internally with your passions and your feelings. And you gotta let the passions win a little bit right now, because you know, think about where all the energy is focused in. It's on Saturn, it's on Capricorn. So we got to grow up right now. We got to mature. And see, like I was saying before, that so turning your energy is going to help with that, because you're not even going to be too emotionally connected to anything right now. And see, this is going to be tough on the signs that can't create that structure within themselves to kind of get over certain feelings, because you might still be stuck in certain cycles and things of that nature. You're going to have to get over it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to pull yourself out of that in order to get to a space where you actually can, you know what I'm saying, push through and persevere. You know, and so all the water signs might have a hard time, and some of the fire signs might be a little better, but the water signs, like if you a water sign with heavy water and it's hard for you to get out of your feelings, hopefully this energy is giving you enough reasoning and logic to be like, okay, well, these feelings ain't really helping me, so how can I use them in a different kind of way in order to get me off the bed, you know, in order to get me out my room and into the world, and so I can associate right. Because that's the thing, that all that in conjunction can have you just wanting to be in bed all day and wanting to kind of throw the covers over your head because things is hard. But fuck that shit, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to figure it out and get your ass up, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get your punk ass up, you know what I'm saying? It's things to be done in the world, you know what I'm saying? And if you're a female and it's more important for you to kind of relax and things of that nature, I would say this, it's more so because women have to do things a little differently. Like when I'm saying get up off your ass, like that's really more so for the men. For women, it's a little different. See, for the women right now, this could be you kind of coming back into yourself, using this energy to reform and remix certain things that you might have been wounded on internally. So it's really a get up off your ass energy on an internal level, meaning if there are certain emotions you've been clinging on to right now, you know, as a woman, this could be a time for you to release those things and refresh yourself, whether that's taking care of yourself in certain ways that, you know, don't involve you kind of like self-care in a sense, you know, and that Capricorn Aquarius energy can kind of help in terms of putting you in a space where you don't have to be so, you know, it's almost like I don't want to say independent energy, but it's an energy where you don't have to feel like you know, like, because you might feel like, man, I gotta wait on this, or I gotta wait on that person, or I gotta do this because of this, I gotta do this for this person. This could be an energy where you could be a slightly more selfish, or slightly more into what you need, and put forth energy into that. You know what I'm saying? You don't really need to be tending hand and foot to other people at the moment, you know what I'm saying, unless you got these energies in your 7th house. But even that, you got to structure yourself up to be able to be help to other people. So, you know, for women, like right now, like the get up off your ass energy is more so take care of yourself type energy for you. You know what I'm saying? For men, it's about getting up off your ass and figuring some shit out. You're gonna have to put a circumstance together, brother. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a single female, you might still have to put a circumstance together, but, you know, make sure you tend to what you need in order to be strong enough to handle that. And then, you know, when you know, because you got to think about it, you only 40% masculine. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be out here doing too much heavy lifting. But, you know, if you're going to put energy towards practicality and thinking a little more practical, you need to kind of be in a space where you not so connected to things, because that's what throw a woman logic off. She be caring about everybody else except for herself, and so what makes sense to her start to be transmuted through the lens of what other people need, whether your son or your daughter needs something, and whether your husband or your boyfriend needs something. And sometimes you gotta say, man, fuck y'all, I just need some time. You know what I'm saying? And as a man too, you gotta know when that time is, and be able to kind of step in and deal, you know what I'm saying, deal with that shit. But that's a conversation. I do want to make a video on that, because that's highly important in as far as relationship dynamics, because you know that's what I was saying about the romance shit. We all got to figure out better ways to work with each other, and kind of how to love each other better, you know what I'm saying, and kind of deal in those kind of ways, and stuff like that, and work and build. But you know, yeah, so that's kind of like what this time is calling for at the moment. So even when you're thinking about, the moon is also slightly opposite Pluto and stuff like that. So again, we're gonna have to feel our way into getting comfortable with the, you know, and see, this is an emotional transformation in a sense. But again, your emotions, you wanting to be comfortable, can't be more important than you wanting to get things together. You wanting to get your shit together. You wanting to be, you know, and again, some people might choose the other end. You might choose the, oh, fuck all that, I just want to be comfortable. But that might come back to bite you. That might not be the best mode of action. But hey, to each their own. That might be what you need to do. So I can't really say what it is, because, you know, again, you might have this energy going through your 4th house, where it's like, it is about you taking care of your internal level, you know, kind of like I was saying for the females. But for the most part, you know, when it comes to this energy, that's what we're going to be dealing with. We're going to go through emotional transformation, and it's going to lead to the full moon in Leo. So the full moon in Leo is us being satisfied with our self, our ability, how we see ourselves, what we react and respond to in terms of attention and being center stage and things of that nature. And so it's going to be a testament to say, are you confident in yourself? Because we're going through a time where nothing seemed like it could work, but everything can work at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you see the potential of something, but everything around you is showing you that it's going to be a certain level of work in order for you to achieve that. So we all have to commit to it. And again, if you're satisfied in terms of how you see yourself and in your ability to express yourself, if you feel confident in that space, you're gonna be able to withstand some of the rejection and some of the just outright coldness of the time that we're going through. You're gonna be able to associate yourself confidently, because you're satisfied in that Leo energy. But if you're not, if you planted bad seeds, you're not gonna feel like what you have is worth sharing. You're not gonna feel like expressing yourself. You're not gonna be satisfied with how you express yourself or how you see yourself. So your ability to associate is going to be lacking. Your ability to associate is it might not be as charismatic. You might not even put yourself in a situation to associate yourself. So you're going to do yourself a disservice during this time, where we need to be building up our rapport with other individuals that think like us and do things that are similar. You got to put yourself out there right now. If you're not, you're going to be a step behind going into the spring, basically. You know what I'm saying? You might not see it right now. You might not understand it like that, but you're basically shooting yourself in the foot before the race even start. It's year 8. So whatever you was stuck in during 7 or building on, that it's becoming what you're now stuck in. So right now, that time before the new year actually kicks in is our time to adjust and situate ourselves so that our springtime can be actually fulfilling, or actually our springtime could be open to be fulfilled with us experimenting, doing new things, sparking new ideas and things of that nature. If you still on the same bullshit, or you're not making adjustments to set that springtime up, your springtime might very well be wasted or consumed by things you needed to clean up. You know what I'm saying? Like what's the New Year's, the only thing correct about their New Year's calendar wise is the idea of a resolution. You know, New Year's resolution. It's only that the problem is they just turn that Capricorn energy into the, oh, we're gonna start something new. It's like, no, the resolution energy need to be from Capricorn to Pisces. This whole phase we in need to be about resolution, tying up loose ends, coming to certain grips with things within ourselves, a final push to take whatever it is that's left as far as crops or what we planted as seeds that now are fruits of our labor, to put forth towards setting the table of what we can work with. You know what I'm saying? That needs to be what this energy is. Not trying to start something completely new, because it just won't, it don't have no legs. It's nothing outside to cling on to for it to have life. Right now, we got to deal with death. But people be trying to skip over that and skip steps. And you can't skip steps. You can't skip transits. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through it and progress through it. That's why looking too far ahead sometimes can fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to predict too many things before they come into fruition. Speaking too early on shit. You fuck up everything trying to talk too soon. Gotta chill out. Especially now. Don't be talking about everything you finna do in the summertime right now. Get that shit together first in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And let that sit and simmer so that you can work out a lot of the kinks. And it's like, if you got some intimate individuals around you, you can share it, you know, this and that. But it should only be with real trusted associates that, you know, are damn near not even associates, pretty much family. See, Cancer, 4th house energy is all the work we can't see. You know, it's like the, you know, how behind every great man is a powerful woman. If you think about the 10th house being the broadcast, what it took to get that broadcast out, all that hard work behind the scenes, the private work, that's the 4th house. So yeah, you might be on the podium giving a speech, but the 4th house energy would have been everything you did to get you to that speech, whether it's writing that speech, what you cared for, who cared for you, what you had to do for your home and family to be situated in order for you to have the space and opportunity to get up out and go to work and things of that nature. It's like everything, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole concept of behind every great man is a powerful woman. You know what I'm saying? No man did anything great without a woman that believed in him. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not even talking so much physical. I'm talking about internally. So you as an individual, you know, your thoughts and ideas ain't shit if you don't have the proper feeling behind it that is giving you the encouragement and the support of that idea. And that's you going throughout a day maintaining a somewhat positive and supportive emotion or feeling or mentality behind what it is you out here to do. And that's highly difficult. That's very difficult. And sometimes we yearn for that to be in the physical so that we can feel like we can do it. But sometimes you got to see that everybody got their own mind, and not every people ain't here to tend to you hand and foot. So you might just have to be alone doing that within yourself 98% of the time, even if you in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, your partner going through the same thing where they got to build themselves up too. And where y'all meet in the middle is y'all supposed to be there for each other. And shout out to Zay Quarter, because he had a tweet and he was like, relationships, it's got to be a correspondence between y'all. So y'all might not always have it all to give to each other to be like, you know, you know what I'm saying, saying the right things at the right time and all this other shit that we romanticize, Roman shit. But there still need to be correspondence between y'all two, whether in conversation and just being around each other and just, you know, interacting and enjoying each other's company. There still should be correspondences that y'all can pick up on and understand that, okay, yeah, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? I might not be doing all the things that, you know what I'm saying, you might need as far as reassurance, and you might not be, you know, but that correspondence is enough reassurance to keep y'all there. You know what I'm saying? And again, y'all, it's going to be times where everything is sparking off, but there's going to be times where things are a little more quiet and shit like that. It's just how you able to maneuver through these different things that determine whether or not your relationship will thrive. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all a decision. It's all a commitment. You know what I'm saying? And again, certain sacrifices, but there's certain things that you might not be able to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Going back to that Saturn exaltation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, it's all a flow. You know what I'm saying? Everything got a flow. Everything, you know what I'm saying? It all goes together and stuff like that. But yeah. So building on this, yeah, so what else we got in Capricorn? I think Mercury is in Capricorn too. So, you know, how we think is opposite to how we feel right now. So again, we might have that war going on between what's in our mind and what's in our heart. Again, let the more Capricorn Aquarius energy win. Matter of fact, I think Mercury might be going into Aquarius. So how we even think and communicate is being a little more fixed and things of that nature and stuff. So I think, man, I looked at the chart, but I think I'm not sure. So if I'm wrong, don't, you know, but I ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an energy going on. It's between the two, and they both Saturnian. So y'all know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Just fill in the blank. You know, so how we think right now is going to be a little more unique, a little more rebellious. But we just need to make sure that we're thinking in terms of, you know, we're speaking on, or we're using our minds to allow, like, basically using our minds correctly. You know what I'm saying? You want to be communicating in a way that, you know, you want to be associating. So that's where our communication needs to be, with our associates, you know, with the things we associate with. And we need to make sure our uniqueness is coming through. Now, a lot of this Capricorn energy, the Sun, Mercury, Pluto is going to be squaring Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. So we're learning how to associate value, who to associate with that has value, and things of that nature, and figuring out ways. And we already been experiencing and expanding with our value and what we have to offer to the world in that sense of Taurus. You know, it might not be in your second house, or it might not all be about that, but on some level it's about values. Wherever you have Taurus at, you know, that's just going to give you the context of what it is that's being valued, you know, whether it's in the 11th house, the value of a connection, association, or network. 4th house, the value of a home or family or emotional connection or privacy, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, it's going to be a matter of learning how to associate value, take what we have and connect with other individuals that have something else, you know what I'm saying, that's unique to them. Now we can build if we're like-minded, or if we are not like-minded, there might be forms of rebellion thrown against each other, or we could just choose not to fuck with each other entirely, you know what I'm saying? And you might want to rebel about certain things that you used to value, or certain things that was stable on, you were stable on before, that you just like, that ain't something to stay stable on, that ain't something to remain loyal to. So that could be going on right now too. So, you know, try not to throw everything you built out the window just because you're a little emotionally flustered at the moment. Again, we need to be making more practical moves. We need to be thinking a little bit more with our brains, not so much our heart. You know what I'm saying? Your heart is going to be the underlying surface, because we still got Saturn and Pisces. We still got these energies that require us to be emotionally connected, and we all need to make sure we still connected to ourselves. But at the end of the day, we need to make that shit make sense. So if you can't make it make sense, it probably don't need to be in reality. It probably don't need to be expressed. It probably don't need to be, you know, something you are passionately into. It probably don't need to be something you appreciate and value. It probably don't need to be something you even communicate. It need to be something you keep to yourself and deal with that shit and figure it out, so that it don't come off and throw everybody off in the room, to make you exiled from a community, or, you know, you kicked out of a certain situation based upon this person is just can't handle their own feelings, and so they're throwing their water all around at a time where we're actually trying to be dry. You know what I'm saying? And if you're doing this energy correctly, Moon in Cancer, if you plant good seeds, you should be around people who care about what you're associating. You should be around associations that actually care about what it is that you have to offer, and you should be around and that's the sextile between Cancer and the energy in Taurus. You know, there should already be people around you that you're associating with currently that are actually caring about what it is that y'all got going on. So that's the benefit right now. If you planted the right seeds, you should be in an area where your thoughts and ideas are supported on some level. You know what I'm saying? It might not be, again, you can't overly care about that, and that can't be, because with Karen and things of that nature, you might start to get into the field of emotional manipulation based upon, oh, how much does this person care about me, or and trying to see different things like that. If you're in that kind of energy, that's going to be you're going to plant a lot of bad seeds. So you can't be in that manipulation emotional energy. It's just when you see that people support what you got going on, and you support and care about what they got going on, leave it at that and respect that in and of itself. Don't make that shit about you, because that happens a lot, especially with Cancer energy. They make, how much do you care about me? That's when you take an emotional connection, care, and family and home, and you turn it into emotional manipulation, trying to engage how much somebody care about you, or trying to engage how much somebody gonna do for you if you were to stop doing this, or new time, get rid of that. We got to get out. No. 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 You gotta get over that shit, man. Shout out Johnny Gill. I don't know why I thought of Johnny Gill. He's like, my. I thought I was like, no. You gotta get up out of that, because that ain't healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's some toxic shit. But I mean, hey, some people like that shit, but that ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? Don't come around me with that shit. But you know what I'm saying? But that, I mean, even when I say that, we all go through bouts of that though, because everybody want to be careful on some level. Everybody got a fourth house. Everybody got a moon. So, you just do it in the way you do it. But, there's better ways to get what you need. You know what I'm saying? If it's emotional connection, there's better ways to go about it. And we kind of need to, that's part of what this practical energy can do for you too. Help you come up with better ways to go about things like that. Now, yep, that's all the Capricorn energy, and opposite that, and then in conjunction, yeah. So we also got this energy in Capricorn squaring the North Node. So a lot of our passions right now, we're learning where our spiritual path fits into our passions and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Where we need to be more passionately invested in structure in order to continue on our spiritual path. And it might be it's highly frustrating at the moment, but and then also Venus, learning how to balance our love and appreciation with the spiritual path we on. How do we learn how do we love the process? Learning how to love that process of building. I have to appreciate restriction. You have to appreciate sacrifice right now in order to get to a place where your spiritual path can align. You know what I'm saying? And again, you should already be aligned, but there's things that we have to adjust and change always. That is like, okay, yeah, I see that. And in the moon, damn, is it well, it's not no grand cardinal square, because ain't nothing in, oh no, the South Node is in Libra. So it's low-key a grand cardinal square, where Libra is the South Node. So it's certain things that we have to also let go of and create balance with, as far as old ways of relating, both to ourselves and to others and stuff like that, that we have to let go of in order to get to our spiritual path. Also emotionally deal with. We're learning how to emotionally deal with things that we no longer relate to, or the fact that we have to relate to things new. We have to emotionally accept that and learn that. You know what I'm saying? And then same thing with on the other side of the square, where Libra has to square with that was Cancer, the moon, and then the other end of that would be Capricorn. So South Node right now, and again, you got the South Node in Libra squaring Venus. So learning, again, learning how to conduct ourselves and relate new in a way that's new, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to take kind of a little bit of frustration in us building on that. Same thing with Mars. There's certain things we have to let go of as far as what we used to relate to or create balance with, that, again, if I'm going to reach this goal, I'm going to have to relate to this a little differently. I'm going to have to do this a little differently, and things of that nature. And it's like, what once was might not be viable anymore. It might not be that, or it might still be there, but we just have to come up with a new way to relate to it. Just with the South Node energy, you know what I'm saying? Because the South Node energy is like, even though it gives us comfort, if we want to grow, we're going to have to dibble and dabble into the North Node. So that's being more independent, being more focused on yourself, your intentions. And that's why it makes this time a difficult year to kind of, even deal with relationships a lot of times too, because you might not have enough bandwidth to balance the two. It take a tremendous amount of self-confidence and clarity to even mesh and merge with another individual. You know, you can only merge properly if you have a strong sense of self, because you don't see it as losing yourself into another person. You strong enough within yourself to give and relate and build on that. A little bird just popped up, chilling. It's raining. That's crazy. But you know what I'm saying, it take that level of confidence and things of that nature. So, you know, it's like it take a lot. But you know, that's what's going on with that, you know. But for the most part, yeah, and then we got Chiron on there too. So a lot of these things, like, we're having to kind of work and build, even though we still might feel wounded or vulnerable in certain areas. But those are mistakes that we just got to get through. And hey, it is what it is. Like, if I'm either going to heal from it by actually, you know, it's kind of like when you hurt your like a muscle or something like that. Like, after it's healed enough to where you can move it around and stuff like that, I believe, or I forgot what kind of injury it is, but there's certain injuries where the more you move it, the better it becomes. It's like you have to actually keep it moving, because if you don't, it'll get stiff and that pain will lock up on you and stuff like that. So it's kind of like that kind of pain where, yeah, it might still hurt. You might still feel like it's a mistake and might still be like, oh, I'm wounded, but you have to move it. You have to keep it moving so that you can, you know, keep it flexible. So I think even like finger jam and stuff like that, they tell you keep moving it so it don't get swollen and stuff like that. And, you know, you can keep the blood flow going and stuff. I think so. You know, I'm pretty sure. I didn't, when I was playing sports and stuff like that, that's I remember that a couple times. But that's an aspect, you know, that we have to acknowledge and accept. So, you know, don't run away from that. And then what else? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it for the most. Oh, Chiron, I mean, Lilith is somewhere in between Virgo and Leo. Just don't be embarrassed about what you expressing. Get over it, and don't be embarrassed about what you have to do as far as a routine and pattern to get yourself right. Got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And don't skimp on it either. Like, the process got to be the process. So right now, shit might be slow. We got our eyes are big as far as what we want to achieve, but we have to take it step by step. There's no shortcuts and stuff like that. And any shortcut that's presented, 9 times out of 10 is going to be a long cut. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Much love. Got some announcements coming real soon, just getting everything situated behind the scenes and stuff like that. But really appreciate y'all. Trying to think, is there any other planets? I might have missed something, but at this point, no, fuck it. Y'all get the gist, and we gonna be right back with another video anyway. So much love. Catch you on the next one.